And we're live, baby.
Nice.
Ain't we isn't that nice? So let me hit this and we go. Oh, good grief, that's a bit loud. There you go, it's a bit better. Hello there, everybody. Welcome along. Let's go to our chat room. Andrew English is there. Hello from London. Just finished this weekend's con pictures from TFN Nation, or it's a Transformers convention. Fair enough. Right, so welcome along to the countdown for Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana. We're going to launch into our full live show very soon indeed, but just a couple of updates. Once again, please, we would like your support on our Patreon at patreon.com/EnglishmanSDCC. It really will help us to attend and cover more events. Considering we're into the final summer wrap down of all of the things convention based, and we're into the kind of the tail end of the summer, we've got plenty of stuff to attend. In a couple of weeks time there's London Super Comic-Con. Fingers crossed I'm going to be there speaking to Dan Slott and Brian Michael Bendis and a couple of others as well. So I'll hopefully be doing a live report from that show in 2 weeks time. Then we've got ourselves New York Comic-Con, which hopefully we're going to be speaking to a representative of Repop very soon indeed about that show. And you never know, I may even be there myself, but I need your support to help me do that. Please head to patreon.com/EnglishmanSDCC. What else? I don't know if Alyssa's been keeping up with the forum at all, because obviously she's been a bit busy. Alyssa?
Have not.
No.
So
fair enough.
As you said, there has been a couple of announcements from San Diego, which we're going to be covering later on in the show. Mostly, I've been involved with getting ready for Boston Comic-Con, which we'll talk to. We'll take and you'll see some pretty interesting stuff later on. Hopefully, I'm going to be wandering around the floor. I'm thinking my signal will be good enough. So,
excellent.
And as Leonard did point out earlier this week, I have joined Instagram. I am learning, so we'll see how that plays out in the course of the next course of the fall season with pictures and yeah. So that's about it. Yeah, about it for me at this point. I'm hanging out in a cafeteria area, just waiting for the show to go on.
Excellent stuff. As always, if you do want to jump in on either the Q&A or on the Twitter, use the hashtag #CupOTSDCC. If there's anything you want us to talk about today, we're going to do our best to talk about the various bits and pieces that are happening in terms of cancellations and Comic-Con news. So we're going to do all of that as well. People tell me that Alyssa's voice is a bit faint, so we'll turn that up a little bit there. But we are a minute and a half away, so please do jump in. And
is that sounding better?
That is sounding better.
To hear me? Oh, wonderful. Because after all, I do want to be heard. I have things to say.
I don't doubt it.
Yes, everybody knows me well, and everybody who knows me in real life knows well enough that I do enjoy talking on occasion, and it can be quite loud and boisterous on occasion. It usually takes a drink or an adult beverage or two to, really get that going. So, and of course, we are a little bit early in the day for that. I kind of wish that I was at 6 o'clock too, Leonard, doing the broadcast. Right?
But you want the weekend to be done already? Are you tired already?
Well, tired, and would appreciate a little bit more reflection, and the ability to sip an adult cocktail while doing the show would be a nice thing. As you pointed out earlier, tea, coloring of a different substance, which.
Oh, my word.
Moving on.
What are you like?
Well, Mike has been known to do bubbles, so.
Angela Copley is saying the forum talk has been mostly about the recent emails regarding children becoming juniors has sparked speculation about returning Reg. I'll give you 3 guesses what we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. So don't worry, it's all on for that. Andrew English saying, I have 3 cons left this year, London Super Comic-Con, Coventry and Birmingham. So yeah, we've got those, but we've got a couple that I'm trying to get my head around. I'd really like to attend Lakes, but I don't see that happening, quite frankly, because funds are remarkably tight. And I mean, I'm trying my best to attend stuff like New York Comic-Con and also London Super Comic-Con. And Thought Bubble, thankfully, is not so bad because at the end of the day, it's just down the road. It is my local event. So thankfully, I've got that one on the cards. But there we go. So welcome to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name's Leonard Sultana. It is the 13th of August 2017, and we have got a number of events that are shaping up the post-summer, or the tail end of the summer for the convention season. We are still looking at the after effects of San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to cover some news that has been coming out of CCI this week very soon in the show. But we're also going to be talking about the various announcements that come out of London Super Comic-Con and also New York as well, which is leading up to its big ramp up. We've got exclusives that are going to be announced from about next week, but we'll get into that very soon indeed. But we're also going to be having our live report from Boston Comic-Con. We have ourselves Alyssa Franks from the friend. I think that's Alyssa Franks. Is it Alyssa or is that Generso?
Well, I am doing a mashup today, so who knows whether or not I'm actually Alyssa or Jen. I was full Jen yesterday and had the experience of walking the floor with full cosplay on. But today I decided that I still wanted to wear my holster and pew-pew, so I put on a skirt and my boots and said, I'm going to wear my pew-pew and my vest.
Have you got your pew-pew with you? Because has anyone actually seen this thing? Because she's had it machine tooled. It looks amazing.
Let's see if we can. If you have a full, I'm not seeing the full camera.
Oh, no, we can see that. We can see that.
Okay.
Look at that.
Oh, it's lovely. It has a decent heft to it. Not like a real one, but it has enough of a heft so that it's, you can really feel it, which is very nice. I have not gotten the hang of having my picture taken yet. I still am avoiding that religiously, which is kind of odd for a cosplayer, but moving on. We'll get into the deep psychological aspects of cosplaying at a later date.
Well, I think it's great that you're embracing it. I mean, it's the one thing I've never actually gotten to do. I've done Halloween on occasion, but I think that's as good as it's gotten for me for dressing up. But no, it's good that you've done it. And I can say from personal experience as well, but certainly when you came into the talk back at San Diego and you'd been doing Gin Urso all day, you were galvanized and you were a little bit more bolshy. And I liked that. It certainly it provided a different side to your character, which I thought was rather cool. So you're at Boston Comic-Con. Where is Boston Comic-Con in terms of the city? Where's it held?
It's housed close to South Station in the Boston Convention Center exhibition hall. It has plenty of room to grow in. This year is much larger, in my opinion, than last year. I don't have any hard numbers from people. I have not, but it certainly felt as though there were more people attending this year as opposed to last year.
What kind of numbers are we looking at?
Last year I heard 44,000. This year I suspect they're in the 50 to 60. I certainly know that it's drawn a lot with its celebrity signings and pictures, photo ops. I did a day 2 update on my blog, and I posted some pictures, and we'll go over and see it in a moment. We could, before once I start walking and roaming the floor. We're welcome to start talking about the news from CCI at first, though, if you'd like to have my company.
Well, I want to hear about Boston. I want to hear about Boston. Tell you what, so you've done a day one and a day two. Can you give us a bit of a recap of those 2 days? I mean, what have you been getting up to?
The first day, I having had CCI in my mind, I queued up early at around 3 o'clock. The show opened at 2. I queued up early at around 3 o'clock after having taken a quick tour of Artist Alley, which I'm going to digress and speak to Artist Alley first. That was remarkably well done. Expecting there to be as much depth of talent. We have got.
Who are the headliners? Who are the headliners this year?
Oh, you're going to do this to me, and I'm going to have my name problem. I did post it on my blog day one post. I will say that I was able to find the highlight of my first hour of the con was spending my entire con on one print from a Ron Lib of the Silver Surfer. He had done a character study of a sketch, a pencil sketch of a Silver Surfer that was just amazing. And I've been looking for a Ron Lib for a long time, and I just said, you know what? I don't want anything else but that. So I'm going to spend all of my money on that.
Well, I'm looking down the. I'm looking down the guest list, and I'm seeing some pretty big names. Michael Cho in there. So looking at Tony Harris. Stan Lee. Have you bumped into Stan Lee yet?
Just a little bit. I was in the fourth row for the Stan Lee.
Fair enough.
Just a little bit.
Fair enough. No, but when you get close to actually see the 96-year-oldness of the man, Phil Noto in the Artist Alley as well. You've got I'm just going through a quick glance of the I'm seeing just yeah. I think I could do with a few more names, I suppose.
I was surprised at how well done they did or do the comic side of this. Walking into it, being a fan Expo event, I did not know what to expect from it, and heavy focus on the celebrities. There's also a good focus on the comics. They definitely are outnumbered by the celebrity autograph photo op seekers, though.
What's the space like inside? Because I mean, we kind of talked about this when it came to San Diego. This year, it did feel like the corridors were a little bit tighter, and it very much felt like a lot of stuff was crammed in. But then I also remember I was showing pictures to friends of mine about D23, and with the massive corridors of space to walk around. What's it been like at Boston? Is it to move around?
Right now, I am in the food area, and of course, being lunchtime here, you're going to see a huge amount of lines over there. They've got some good food vendors. The hot dogs are decent, since that seems to be my traditional morning fare at conventions these days. There is an interesting feature, and I'm going to show this before I descend onto the show floor. They actually have a corridor which crosses over the entire show floor. That's this right here, and unfortunately, we can't see very much floor. There's a little bit there. We'll get to that in a moment. But this is a great shortcut. First off, what I want to show you is the main stage. They have the main stage set up on, excuse me, I just want to take pictures. They've got the main stage set up on the show floor, and that's what you're seeing right there.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, is that not given too much in terms of volume from the rest of the floor?
They managed to work it out well. I don't quite understand how they are able to do it, you know, just being curtained off, as opposed to other venues that have tried to do this. But when you're sitting in, certainly when you're sitting in the first dozen rows, you can hear the speaker, and the show floor is a low hum, but it's not distracting. And likewise, when you're on the show floor, you can hear the cheers from the main stage, but not. I'm told that I'm going to have to move in a moment.
No worries, no worries.
When you're, that's fine. But when you're on the show floor, you can hear the cheers, but not the overwhelming story. You know, the overwhelming microphones.
I mean, Andrew Dickinson's actually turning around and saying acoustic paneling, which I can understand, certainly with the panels that we do see right there in Alyssa's. But then you've also got the acoustics coming over the top.
I'm going to get thrown out here, but I want you to observe. This is the Stan Lee line.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So and now she's saying, move on.
Well, you know, you do as you're told. That's fine.
Exactly.
I actually thought that that center corridor to lead across the show floor, you'd think that they'd actually open one or two of those up so people could actually look down onto the floor. I thought that would be a nice touch.
I would have loved it if they did, and if there was a talkback panel, I would most assuredly suggest that. This is the other side of that corridor, going here, and perhaps they'll let me hang out a little bit more doing this. This area, the other side was aisles 700 through 1,200. These are aisles 100. You've got Artist Alley, and then aisles 100 through 600, and the autograph area, which is all of this.
Okay. So where's the vendors being held?
The vendors are all in aisles 1 through 1,200.
Oh right, okay. So it's more Artist Alley than vendors.
Well, Artist Alley is from about here over to the wall.
Oh, right, okay.
Right over there. So that's, and in there you've got the back of the Stay Puft Man. You've got a really good section on the 501 First. They're doing a lot of things. I'm going to start walking down to the floor. Let me know if signal becomes a problem.
Will do. What I'm actually quite impressed with, and I do like venues that do this, is when you do have natural light bleeding in, because it does provide that sense of. Because usually, sometimes when you're in a convention center and you're in a Comic-Con, it does feel like we're kind of penned away. You know, we'll keep the nerds and we'll keep them in their own little room somewhere. This is a little bit more airy, a little bit more open, a little bit more natural light, and I quite like that. I think that's a nice touch.
Those curtains there are the back of the main stage, the back of the hall for the main stage. Right, back over there. So you can see how close the whole floor is. As a matter of fact, we've got there's about 2 or 3 times this amount of space in the unused sections. So there is a lot of room for this convention to grow in this venue.
I think I just saw you at the bottom of the escalator there. I saw a metal detector. And what's security been like at Boston? Is it something that they emphasize, or is it something that's just part and parcel of a convention nowadays?
We've had bag checks and metal detectors. We've had prop checks. Although it was relatively easy to get around that, but there was a prop check at each of the doors. What I am most impressed with is their line management. Just to have all of this laid out, you know, for this amount of space before the first person walked through the door, to my mind, it showed their experience. And I was very pleasantly surprised. They brought in a line management guy for the main stage from Florida just to do this show.
Wow. So this is Fan Expo, isn't it?
Yes, this is Fan Expo.
And how many events do they do across North America?
I'm not sure. I have to think at least a half dozen, if not more. And as you see, there's some amazing cosplay through. That's what I've just been astounded with. It seems like every other person is in cosplay. Of course, we have the security guards too.
Fair enough.
But yeah, the kids are absolutely into it, and you even got Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith.
I don't think that's actually. You never know. It might actually be. No, it's
no,
not. It won't be.
Not,
okay. The one thing I noticed at San Diego was people really were taking their cosplay particularly seriously. People were noticing that it was more very organized cosplay. Is it a little bit looser at Boston? Is it a little bit more? You know, people yeah.
It is. This is the back of the that main stage. So you can actually, you know, just walk up to it and you see how many seats are available.
Cool.
Usually that's just about the amount of seats available. I did not need to have waited as long as I did for Stan Lee. The Kevin Urban panel that I just attended, I'm sure had room in the back, and I walked up at a quarter of and got the fourth row.
Let's take those two panels as compare and contrast. Stan Lee, then, obviously a major draw, and it has been something of consternation because it is determining about which is going to be his last appearance, and what he's doing in terms of his panel appearances. What was the queuing time? What did you actually have to go through to get into that panel?
The Karl Urban?
No, for Stan Lee.
Stan Lee, I queued up about three. Well, I was on CCI mode, so my perception is warped. I queued up at about 3 o'clock for a 6:30 show. 3:30. I was fourth in line. They have VIP, so I was fourth row.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's it's not utterly mental. But then we go to the other end of the perspective. While he is still a big draw, Karl Urban, this is from Dread and from Star Trek fame. What was his panel like? I mean, was that a full room or?
I don't think so. I was fifth row, and like I said, I walked in at about 20 minutes of the hour. Just we gotta do Doc here. have to. The cosplay has been amazing. I mean, we got a Batgirl, or just. Sorry.
This is going to be fantastic for the audio version, by the way. But I will say that the cosplay I'm seeing on screen is absolutely amazing. So what in terms of the vendors? Is it any of the major publishers, or is it more smaller independent? What's the
no?
What's the vibe?
There are no major publishers. You've got a couple of smaller publishers. The Aspen, I think Image has a couple of little booths, but you've got the artists, and then you've got the just the people who are selling their own books from the Boston area.
Right. So it is more about the concentration on the creators themselves rather than the actual companies, as it were.
You do also have some cosplay, a lot of cosplay focused picture taking, which is they've actually got a full setup to do that, as I've shown you in shows before. And Godzilla. because every con needs a Godzilla.
Well, I
But
mean,
what
that's a slight upgrade from the dinosaurs that we've been, no, the T-Rexes we've been seeing at
Yes.
conventions nowadays.
Yes.
Instead of just a blown up T-Rex, at least we've got an actual Godzilla. I'd hate to think who'd win in a fight between the two.
Yeah, trying to get a front picture of him. There we go.
Oh, good grief.
So, but what I was actually on my way over for was, and you have a lot of cosplaying, cosplayers appreciating other people's cosplay, which is
Cool.
very cool.
Okay. So
What
yeah,
I was bringing you over to see is this is the 501 First booth, where they actually have a setup, but they also have got little scenes where people can come and act, cosplay with their.
Alyssa, you're going very quiet.
Sorry. Can you still hear me?
No, you're going very quiet.
Okay. I'm walking out of this area.
No, I don't think it's. I don't know if it's that or if it's the ambient noise. I don't know. Anyway, but we'll try and keep up. So no, what we're seeing on screen, by the way, is little Star Wars vignettes on backdrops, so people can have their pictures taken. So that's really cool. And like you say, you've got the 501st loitering around as well. So anyone in their best Darth Vader or Kylo can get in there and have a picture taken.
Can
That's
you hear
really
me
cool.
now? Can you hear
Just
me now?
about. Just about.
I'm having problems with my mic. Sorry. Nice seeing you, though. Sorry about that. There was a couple of people that I wanted to introduce you to. I'm moving to a different area to see if perhaps it's a signal issue.
I don't think it is. I think it's just more. I think it's more ambient noise. I think it's just because it is quite a loud room. It's just swamping the volume, but it's fine. I mean, we're getting the general gist, and I'm enjoying the fact that you are just kind of able to move around. And I mean, yes, of course, it's a Sunday, and it's going to be a quieter and a family day. But I am liking the amount of space and the amount of moving around.
Well, this is the back of the room. This is where people. We've got the Stanley area where you saw that large line from before.
So is Stan appearing today?
I believe he will be. I know that I could have bought a picture with him, and of course you've got an excellent Thor costume. But the Stanley is
how much is the Stanley stage?
$120 for a picture.
For a picture, how much to actually get onto the stage, to be in the room to watch his panel?
There was no cost.
Oh right, okay.
No, his panel that was free, and at this point, the next thing that we've got coming up, I believe, is John Barrowman.
Yeah, well, I know that you've struggled to decide between the two because you've got John Barrowman and you've also got the anniversary panel for Image Comics. What have you decided to go for eventually?
I think I'm going to go for the Barrowman because as was pointed out, and a red stapler. I'm seeing the picture, and I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name at the moment, but he pointed out that I'd seen the image panel at ECC, and that Barrowman, since I've never seen him before, is not to be missed.
I think the only thing you've got to be aware of, just be prepared that he may not be as animatic and as bouncy as he usually is. He is post-surgery, after all.
I'm going to make another venture on the down and to the main stage entrance through the crowd, so you may have to cover for me.
No worries.
When the volume gets to be pretty high, because I'll be in the louder sections with all of the vendors. But at the end of it, you'll see how crowded it is and how crowded the entryway to the floor is, which in my opinion is the biggest drawback, that they did not leave enough aisle space at the beginning of the theater.
Oh, that's a
on
shame.
the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Well,
you'll
we've
see
got one or
this.
two people who are saying that he did post a vote. This is Angela Copley. Hello, Angela. Posted John Barrowman posted a hilarious video on Instagram this morning. So he's obviously in fine spirits. So that's good to see. Andrew Dickinson has seen him before. He is very funny and very sweary. I did quite like the coverage from San Diego, where he turned around in the first 5 minutes and just said, "Well, if there are kids in the room, you better get used to the swearing because it's going to happen." So it's part and parcel of what he does. Okay, so one or two other people joining us, so that's great. We'll just leave it on Alyssa's touring of the floor at the moment, but plenty of stuff to see.
Oh, absolutely. And it's different stuff than you normally see at San Diego. You actually have cosplay people who are selling costumes for different sizes, and homemade armor and a foam. That is very cool.
You could definitely tell. You could
Yes,
definitely
very
tell.
nice.
You could definitely tell that your focus has shifted from the comics to the cosplay. Now
Well,
that you started dressing up, what's been the comics element of it all? I mean, it's because that was one thing that came out of San Diego, the whole issue of vendors, and obviously with Mile High not attending San Diego. What's been the vendors like at Boston? Have we got a fair amount of booths up for grabs?
they do. We do. We've got a fair amount of dollar books and lower priced books. In there, there's a couple of higher quality, higher CGC kind of books. Yes, there is one in here that I was kind of looking at. Yes, but I think not. Um, and of course, we do have blades, which.
Okay.
Well, I
So
know
is this something that Boston's not clamping down on as much as other conventions have?
No, they certainly are not. They certainly are not. A fair amount of, then you've got the T-shirt vendors, obviously, and the toys and the pop. Of course, you've got a good selection of pops throughout all of this, and stickers and pins. I don't think we can go to a pin these days without people selling Lego minifigs or pins. So, but there's also some really interesting fresh art here, like this one in particular. Just took my mind away.
Cool.
And just really enjoying his work. So
one thing I've noticed is I haven't seen too much in terms of staff. I was seeing a fair amount of security wandering around in the coverage, but not so much in terms of volunteers or official Fan Expo staff. Are they making a presence, or is the con being allowed to kind of left to its own devices?
It's pretty much left to its own devices. It seems like they vetted their people, their vendors pretty well. And now we're starting to get into the comic book area, which is over on the other side. So, and then one of the we can even see my favorite comic book person, Chris Chen, will be happy to see thousands of dollar books. So we do have a good selection of those. You've also got CGC here, which is of course doing theirs.
It seems to be a lot of kind of long boxes under tables. It's very kind of lo-fi. I'm guessing, is that the part of the appeal of Boston Comic-Con?
There are larger booths. This just happened to be the aisle that it's amazing cosplay. It's really, really well done cosplay. I'm just going to peek up this other aisle. This is what you're kind of seeing in terms of other booths. I guess you would say that it's lower fi, so to speak, but there's still, that's your bread and butter, are the long boxes, because people have their want lists.
Yeah.
And they don't You know, if you don't have what they want, the Command 22 or the
Yeah.
you know these little obscure comics, then you're kind of, you won't get that sale. So it's best to bring bulk and quantity. This is the entrance to the hall from the outside. And you see how they have, it's about a 20-foot space right here where people, your first reaction, you walk through the door and you stop and you look at everything. And it's a huge cluster area. So that's my, oh,
Hey,
oh, and we got more Deadpools. Deadpools and Spideys.
Just a couple of comments that are coming in on the Q&A. We've got ourselves Leanne, who's saying, obviously, John Barrowman, he's very entertaining, even I've seen several times. Dan Berry, Barrowman seemed up for his old self yesterday at Boston. Obviously, I don't know if Dan's there or not, but whether he's seen some of the social media. Barrowman laid down on the ground and had a guy in a kilt walk above him so he could see if it's true about what they wear under the kilt. John, you're a married boy. You should behave yourself. What on earth?
Oh.
And
this is TMI. Okay, seriously, I understand that I'm talking about skirts, but really, I don't want to know what's under his skirt. I don't want to know.
Fair enough. And very quickly, and Andrew Dickinson has turned around and said that Comic-Con had the same amount of blade sellers they insist on packaging, Joe. Though, just to confirm that, by the way, and I am going to be writing something up about this, Andrew. Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to correct you on that one. They did have a marked decrease in blade sellers this time round by about 40 to 50%. This was an intentional thing by CCI, and it wasn't something that was unintentional. They did cut down on blade sellers actually on the floor. Okay,
this is just for one last point here. This is the theater entrance line to go see John Barrowman at 1 o'clock. So you get the idea. I mean, this is 25 minutes ahead of time, and
I'm just going to say, what time is it there now?
It's 12:30. So you've got 12:25. So 12:35. So you've got about, this is 20 minutes to the show, a John Barrowman show. So that gives you an idea that the queuing is not anywhere near the San Diego fanaticism that we expect.
It does seem so much more relaxed and a lot more.
Yes.
I'm loving the vibe from what I'm seeing, but I'm also. It feels strange to me to not have a number of yellow shirts kind of wandering around. So it's very strange to me.
Well, the gentleman in the booth is the yellow shirt. He was directing people, and
from his chair.
From his chair, absolutely. Well, again, I think that they bring, and I'm going to switch it around to me now. I think that they bring people to from different conventions to man this show. That's the only way that you can get this type of setup. And I'm turning it around again. That's the only way you can get this type of planning and mapping that they have going on at this venue. You've got to bring people in who know what they're doing. That's the only way this happens.
It doesn't seem to me so much line management, just space management, managing the way that the space of the convention center is being used. I think that's it's a different type of skill, and we certainly saw that at D23. D23, Disney are masters at it, but it looks like that's pretty much what we're seeing here at Boston. So that's very cool.
What you have is a gentleman who's managing all of this, bringing somebody, a lady, a chair.
Oh,
where
fantastic.
do you get that? That's he's very pleasant. I've been having conversations with him. He's been here the whole day. The reason why I'm getting in line because we're going to switch the show at this point to be more about CCI's announcement.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what then, let's do a final wrap up. What's been your take on Boston Comic-Con? Pluses and minuses, go for it.
Pluses, management, they've got it down. They really have it down. They are able to bring the vendors in. There was an increase in the cost, the ticket cost, the VIP ticket cost, and the cost for the tables. I know this. However, I think it's money well spent. It's a more slicker, professional show than it was before, and there is plenty of room to grow. Behind me, directly behind me, are 2 or 3 times the amount of space in those areas so they can expand. So
wow.
I'm thinking that they could definitely go. We didn't go up into the smaller rooms. There was only I don't know how large those rooms are. I suspect they're in the 200 or 300 seat rooms, but they were close to where the food was sold. So everything is fairly central. It is a little bit of a hike to get here, but the Silver Line train line is only about a block away. So it's pretty simple, and the host hotel is right next door, and they do have a good bar. Their calamari is spectacular. Just had to put the foodie in there.
Well, it's all about priorities, isn't it?
Oh, double chocolate espresso, not double chocolate stout cake last night with just amazing. It was so rich I could not finish it, but I wanted to.
Fantastic. Okay, what would you say you would? You say you've had the pros. What about the cons for the show?
That front area, I would say, is a con. It's kind of like they got to the end of laying everything out, and they realized they didn't have enough room, and they couldn't shift everything. So they didn't do that over. They didn't kind of plan everything out well in that aspect, despite the fact that all of this is planned out well. That they don't have a room for the smaller. Yeah, I hesitate to say the smaller vendors, but I think that they're kind of missing a niche. When you start limiting the people who can't afford the $200, $500 booth fees, when you start limiting those people, then you lose diversity in product, and I think that is evident. Unfortunately, I think that they could do a little bit more in wooing some of the larger, the Image booth, the Marvel booths. Some involvement by DC and Marvel and the other comic creators would be useful.
Fair enough. I mean, we can also hear in the background, you can hear the room, the large room that's certainly filtering over the rest of the con, and it certainly provides that sense of energy and immediacy to the room. I've always liked that kind of sound bleed, but I can imagine after a couple of hours that can get a little bit tiring as well, that you do want to find a quiet space.
Well, yes, you do, but that's where the food, you can get away, and there's plenty of places to sit, which is really kind of nice up at the tables. I was able to find chairs and sitting spots not on the floor, skirt, yes. Plenty all of the times today when I wanted it. It was a little bit crowded yesterday. I will say that. I'm just trying to look through, let's see, what you are seeing here. We're having a screening. They're doing a live reading, voice actor live script reading of The Princess Bride in the main theater right now. So when you hear the cheers, that's what they're cheering for.
Yeah. A live reading of the entire film? Good grief.
I apparently, well, they only were on stage for an hour.
Sorry, I have to say it. Inconceivable. It's just me.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
Brilliant. Excellent stuff. So you're off to do the John Barrowman panel. What else have you got planned for today?
I'm going to do the Barrowman panel. I'm probably going to walk around the floor. They're having an Alan Tudyk for the Con Man panel, which is sounding fun, but I think I'm going to kind of stick to the John Barrowman just because I haven't seen him before. I may go to an advanced cosplay panel that they're having, but that again, there's this conflict. There's a history of cosplay, which I may get to. That's at 4 o'clock. So it looks like I'm probably going to be staying at the convention for a fair amount of time, as opposed to my traditional, which is leaving at 3. So they're getting me to spend more time on their floor and in their panels this year than they did last year, which is a good thing.
Fair enough. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed for that live report, and I'm certain you're going to be able to jump in with the rest of the show, because we do want to talk about the various announcements, or certainly the big announcement that's come from CCI this week, which if I can just go to screen share so people can read it on screen as well. This is regarding child to junior validation, which is now being introduced. It's returning registration for Comic-Con 2018. You will not need to validate your Comic-Con 2017 badge number to participate. I think they did that. They didn't do that last year either. You may purchase badges for up to 3 people, including yourself. So basically nothing new there, but it is regarding the whole business of child registration, because this rather gives us some possible dates for returning reg, which we knew was going to be happening in the fall. In other words, it was going to be reintroduced to 2017, shorter window after Comic-Con 2017. So the dates that have been included here. The question is, did your child attend to Comic-Con 2017 and would like to be eligible for 2018 returning reg? Children who attended Comic-Con with a paid adult attendee that were 13 or older by September the 30th, 2017 are eligible to participate in Comic-Con returning registration for next year. You do have to complete a child to junior process by September the 20th. You will need the physical child badge to complete the validation process. Now it's when you then start looking at those dates then. So the September 20th to actually complete the actual child to junior process, which is on a Wednesday. And then you have that the attendees have to be 13 or older by September the 30th, which is a Saturday, which usually is a way of determining kind of where we are in terms of pre-registration. That does mean that we could be having pre-registration from even as late as as early as September the 30th. It could actually happen on that weekend, or even the weekends following, which is Saturday the 7th and Saturday the 14th of October. So it's very interesting to see that we could actually have some clues to the actual pre-registration for 2018, which means if you are in a badge team, now's the time to start getting things mobilized.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Anything you want to add?
Just adding and emphasizing, if you haven't already started your badge team and you aren't already together with the process, start, because it could happen anywhere from the end of, as you were saying, from the end of September, and my guess for the end of it would be until we start thinking about Thanksgiving. So I'm saying mid-November. Is that
wow? You're thinking a bit later.
Well, no, I'm saying this is the window, in my estimation, because they said in the fall. So in my estimation, it's got to be after the kid date and before the holidays. I'm not going for dates right now because I'm a con, and yeah, you know, what can I say?
I'm very curious to see if they'll actually play a little bit more tactical in terms of who's actually going to attend, because of course October 5th to the 8th you do have New York Comic-Con. So be curious to see if they actually do the badge sale on that particular weekend. It's possible. Like I say, you could be looking at early October for when the returning reg does actually happen. As we get closer, of course, as we find out what the process could be, which I suspect is going to be identical to the process we've had before, that's where we're looking at in terms of that.
But
Sorry, Alyssa?
I don't think that we're going to get it on New York Comic-Con weekend. They are historically, they're going to be wanting to, a lot of their members want to attend Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con too. So I don't think that they're going to do that to their own staff and to us fans. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it won't be that weekend. How about
that? Okay. Well, I'm actually also curious to see if Comic-Con International are going to play a little bit more tactically this year, because certainly we found out at the talkback we had John Rogers saying that he felt that there were far too many people that weren't what he felt were ideal Comic-Con attendees, the ones that were attending 5, 6, 10 years ago, the ones that embraced the Comic-Con ethos. So I don't know where I'm wondering what kind of tactical play we could be seeing from Comic-Con International between now and next July, in terms to try and keep people involved in Comic-Con who that CCI would like to see returning. But who knows? I think it could even be the 5th or the 8th, but yeah, we could even be looking at the weekend after. I personally think it's going to be early October. We'll leave it as vague as that. I think we could be looking at that.
And you may very well be right, Leonard. I think, I think there is absolutely a case, and if I recall correctly, I believe, and Angela can back me up on this, or not, feel free, that I think that there certainly are people who believe that it will be in early October. And personally, I would love it. It allows us to buy our plane tickets, and you being international, it gets them, gets it done. We can even pre-buy hotel rooms once we get badges. So
yeah,
it only helps us. The only thing that I don't want them to do again is put it anywhere near the 4th of July, because that is a hellacious week to travel.
Yeah.
Moving on. They're not.
Fair
it's
enough.
Not there.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's CCI's announcement. Once again, you can head to comic-con.org for all the updates. If you head to the Toucan blog, it does have the updates for the child to junior validation. If you do have a child that qualifies for that pre-registration, 1 or 2 people I know on the forums were complaining that perhaps that this is dumping a further element into the pre-registration, stopping other people getting into the badges. That's a complaint which I frankly dismissed, but we'll move on from that. But all of the information from CCI can be found at comic-con.org. A couple of more updates in terms of attendees, cancellations, upcoming events. New York Comic-Con is finalizing its guest roster and also its talent pool. We'll hopefully be speaking to someone from New York Comic-Con in the next couple of weeks regarding that. Of course, we are looking at the talent that's coming to Comic-Con as well. We do know that the Doctor Who talent is going to be there again. We have ourselves Peter Capaldi, which is confirmed, and also Pearl Mackie is going to be attending at New York Comic-Con this year. However, we have also heard of a cancellation if you are a Game of Thrones fan. Lena Headley will not be attending New York Comic-Con. She cancelled 2 days ago. And we have yet to find out exactly who the full talent list is for Game of Thrones. But obviously, as the series is now really ramping up, obviously New York Comic-Con will be wanting to capitalise on that by putting on one hell of a cast list from that show.
I am going to again ask people for their opinion on whether or not I should splurge for a photo op with the actor who plays Jyn Erso,
Felicia Day.
Yeah, who plays Jyn Erso. So because apparently she's going to be there at New York Comic-Con. Somebody, I believe Angela mentioned this to me and asked me if I would cosplay on the Friday when she's there. And I have to admit, I am thinking about this. This would be lovely to have to have a picture with her. So I am grateful that she's coming and that we're going to get some Rogue One people. I will go on to say in Karl Urban's panel he was asked a number of times about Star Wars, about whether or not he was going to be playing in the Star Wars universe at all. And he said he had not been approached since he has so many other universes that he is a member of. He did say that Rogue One was his favorite in the Star Wars universe, and really enjoyed the grittiness and darkness. I suspect you're having a hard time hearing me. I'm gonna mute myself.
Just a little. It's very loud. I think that's where we're talking about the acoustic. I mean, you could talk about acoustic paneling all you like, but when you do have a convention center where the sound bleeds over the top, it's obviously going to be very difficult to contain that amount of volume, especially when you've got something as enthusiastic as a Princess Bride read along. Other bits and pieces that are happening, we have London Super Comic-Con that's going to be happening in 2 weekends time. That's going to be between the 25th to the 27th of August. The Artist Alley and commission tables are now opening, so do head to your favorite artist that is attending. Lee Garbett is going to be at table 4142, and he has his pre-commission up and running. We also have the announcement of the signing and also the artist appreciation tables that got announced this week as well. We have Dan Slott, who's going to be doing artist appreciations and looking over people's work to give them feedback. You also have a whole number of signing opportunities for a number of the big names, including Brian Michael Bendis, who is going to be in attendance. So do head to London Super Comic-Con for all of their information when it comes to their bits and pieces about what they're going to be getting up to that year. Oh, sorry, that weekend. And I think the last one that I want to very quickly cover is something that I'm going to be a little bit involved in. This is ICE, the International Comics Expo, which I'm really looking forward to because they've announced their big headliner for next year, as joining LeVar Burton and Denise Crosby from Star Trek: The Next Generation, and a bunch of other fantastic talents that are going to be appearing in Nottingham. You also have confirmed this week Pearl Mackie from Doctor Who playing Bill Potts. She's going to be on stage and going to be doing signings. There's a cracking guest list for oh sorry, this is for not for ICE. Get it right. Sorry about that. This is for the convention in Nottingham. This is the fantastic show which it takes place, and I am going to do my best to bring up the information for that. This is MCon. I do apologise. This is MCon that's taking place in Nottingham. Fantastic guests that are online for that, and like I say, Pearl Mackie is confirmed for that show. So thankfully, I'll also be able to be interviewing them. I think the boys are asking me back to be the panel host this year, which means I will be live streaming all of those shows. The one thing I have been told that while Pearl Mackie went on sale, certainly for photo ops, the gold VIP opportunity for Pearl Mackie sold out within 2 days. It's very popular, and unfortunately now the only opportunity you're going to get to see her is actually on her signing table. So if you are interested, do head to mcon.co.uk, which I believe is their website, because they have a very strange, sorry, MCon, Emacon-Nottingham. They've changed some of their URLs, which is good. So MCon, EMCON-Nottingham.com. It does have all the information there for finding out about that convention. Right, I think that's pretty much us for the day. I do want to try and keep the show under an hour. I want to try and go for 45 minutes, but there we go.
I do have the weekend television that I can do also, since that was recently published.
Go for it.
If you're interested, and of course I had it, and then I was gone, and here it is.
Okay. Well, very quickly, while you're handling that, a couple last things when it comes to the Q&A. We've got Betsy Woodson saying next on my list of the con list is Heroes and Villains in San Jose in early December. We've got people who are looking at their calendars when it comes to when we could be having the pre-registration or returning registration sale. Andrew Dickinson, Saturday the 7th, I'm busy. Super Cat Chick, with my luck, the badge sales will probably be right smack in the middle of New York Comic-Con. See, this is where great minds think alike. Sarita P, I'm thinking November, like they did a couple of years back. So who knows? We'll find out how that goes. Super Cat Chick, she is aiming, or suggesting that you do go to check out Jinursa in your full cosplay. She's basically saying that she made an Oswin, a Dalek Clara cosplay from Doctor Who, and missed a photo op with Jenna Coleman 2 years ago, and she very much regrets it. So yeah, I can understand that kind of regret there. So no, you've got an overriding vote. You need to go and see that actress in full cosplay.
I will spend for the photo op. I think it has to be a photo op. That's what I need, and I will actually spend the money for that.
Okay, we seem to have lost video camera for you, so I think we're kind of dropping on signal. But if you can give us a very quick a week in TV, please.
The Defenders. It's all about that. You know, we need that's as I saw the lead actor for Daredevil yesterday in a panel that he did. Again, it was you know, half an hour walk in to see to see him, and that his take on it, while he would not say much, was that it's a much lighter fare than his show. And when you think about Daredevil, you are not surprised that it's a lighter show than Daredevil. He went on to say that he really enjoyed playing with Jessica Jones, playing the scenes of those two characters together, because they're both so antisocial. Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to that one on Friday. I am gonna do just a little bit here. We've got Epix Get Shorty and the NBC Marlin are going to be debuting this week. We've also got the return of Halt and Catch Fire, which is another one. TJ did a wonderful review of What Happened to Monday. It's a Netflix one-shot, and I would recommend this. I'm going to look at it. It's set in far in the future, limited population. People can only have one kid. This one couple had 7 children, and they're identical twins. So
this, yeah, I've seen the trailer for this. This looks very, very impressive. This is starring the actress from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Fantastic talent, and also just, if anything, it reminds me very much of Orphan Black. But I'm curious to see how it's actually going to go.
So I'm looking forward to that one, and we'll catch it when it comes on. We say goodbye to Broadchurch. I believe its series is wrapping up entirely. So that's, you know, if you are a huge Broadchurch fan, I'm sure you're going to be watching that. And that's pretty much it. We will talk to you next week.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed for everyone for joining us today. Alyssa, where can people find you online?
People can find me at Friends of CC for my Twitter handle. I don't know my Instagram handle yet. We're learning. Yeah, I handle a lot of different platforms, and the forums.
You need to stick it on the back of your phone. You need to have something on there.
Absolutely. But people can also find me mostly on my site, friendsofcc.com.
It's also a great place to check out the recaps. I'm certainly looking forward to the Day 3 recap for Boston Comic-Con. So do check out what Alyssa's been posting this week. For myself, you can find me at anenglishmaninsandiego.com, on all the social medias at EnglishmanSDCC. And of course, you can also help us with the show with following our Patreon, patreon.com/EnglishmanSDCC. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. We are doing our best to keep the shows under an hour so you can enjoy your Sunday. Get off and do what you need to do. Attend cons, see people, do what you need to do. And
if you do attend a con, bring it to us. Tell us do a live report. We'd love to hear from you because we need to live vicariously and support each other through the winter months.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got Efrain, who's going to San Francisco Con in September. We've got people going to Long Beach Comic-Con and Comikaze, and we need, tell you what, share it with us. We'd love to get in contact with us. We'd love for you to join us. If it means us throwing some money at you for data, we'll do that, but we'd love to have you contribute to the show. Do take care, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and from all of us on Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with Englishman in San Diego, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Next week. Bye-bye.